As the American southern border remains as porous as wet tissue paper, and the efforts to reinforce our security would appear to be exactly the same material in many opinions, Americans are being kept mostly in the dark about where the current wave of immigrants are going. They're not all in Texas or Arizona. Instead, they're spread out across the country and creating secret border states. That and so much more as we decide to dig a little further into this issue. Let's welcome the co-founder and national coordinator of the Tea Party Patriots, Jenny Beth Martin, joins us today on MidPoint. Jenny, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Jenny Beth, let's start there with what people are calling secret border states. And I imagine this has got to have a tremendous amount of people very angry. It certainly has governors around the country very angry as well, as hundreds of immigrants that are crossing the border right now are being placed, some would say dumped, in states across the country. Tennessee, Indiana, Boston, so many other places have seen this now. Is this, in the opinion of the Tea Party, just a plan that was here all the time? And how angry is it making people, certainly across the nation that you've been in contact with, that the government doesn't seem to want to tell people who's coming their way?
Well, it's making people very angry and very concerned. We don't know who's coming into our country. We don't know whether they are criminals or not criminals. And then we find that the government is moving them to different places around the country. It's creating very huge concerns with supporters around the entire country. As far as if it was a deliberate plan or not, we don't know that. So we try to work with the facts that we have.
Let's work with the facts then about what's happening right now at the border and what is happening. The Republicans are trying to work right now. They're still at work in Washington, D.C. Everybody is trying to get something done here before they go on their vacation. But from your opinion and the opinion of those that you lead and speak with as well, how disconcerting is it to see a Republican Party that is so split at this moment, where you have, it seems to many people, to be Ted Cruz versus John Boehner, and they can't seem to come to any sort of an agreement in their own party?
It's very concerning that there is a split. What I'm seeing this morning from Capitol Hill and this afternoon is that finally the House leadership is paying attention to what the conservatives want, and they're going back and they're modifying the supplemental bill. We'll see what comes in the language and whether they actually are listening to Ted Cruz and Senator Sessions, Michelle Bachmann, Steve King, Louis Gohmert, and others, or not. And more importantly, we'll see if they're listening to their own constituents and the voters around the country. The voters around the country, especially the Republican voters, don't want to compromise. They want to make sure that our border is secure, and they think that people are coming across the border because they're going to get a permit and be able to work here. So we need to address those problems.
Would you please detail for us what the Tea Party would like to see in all this? And again, I think the question here is, are they pro John Boehner, Ted Cruz? Where is the Tea Party sitting in this right now as to what they want to see as part of any legislation?
Well, we are certainly on the side of the Constitution and on securing the border, and right now that is the side that Senator Sessions and Ted Cruz are on, and Senator Sessions has been leading the way on this for months and months and months. The DACA language that Senator Cruz wrote is very strong language. We want to see that be voted on. We'd like that attached to the supplemental bills so that it is very strong and it is attached to it. And we also want to make sure that the governors in the border states are able to call up the National Guard, and that they have control of the National Guard and the ability to call it up, and it isn't the federal government doing that.
Is there an anger against John Boehner at this point from members of the Tea Party? It is perceived that way in the national media.
Yes, there's definitely an anger about it, and we will thank him if he does the right thing, and the language that we've heard maybe coming out today is appropriate. We will extend our appreciation for listening to the people and the voters. John Boehner tends to not listen to the voters and listens to the Chamber of Commerce and other organizations inside of D.C. far too often, and that frustrates the people in the Tea Party movement, and frankly it frustrates many Republican voters around the country as well.
Is John Boehner simply the wrong guy then to lead the Republican Party?
I think that the Republican Party has other people who could be leading it. Right now, we have Speaker Boehner as the speaker. We have at Tea Party Patriots called for a new speaker, and I think that in the next Congress we really do need a new speaker, one who listens to what the conservatives within the Republican Party want, and more importantly, who listens to the constituents around the country and is making sure that they're doing the right thing for all of America.
Is that then a Speaker of the House who would be less tractable, perhaps, or would be set in certain ways and not want to give any on what the White House wants? Again, this is what perception is nationally, so we're trying to dig into that here and find out exactly what the Tea Party is looking for then in this sort of a person.
We're looking for a speaker who can take the values that we care about, freedom, personal freedom, economic freedom, who wants a debt-free future and can talk about those values with the American people and can lead based on those values. So it's not about whether you're compromising with the White House or not. It's about being a true leader and saying, this is a vision that we have. This is how we're going to achieve the vision. Come with us, America, and we'll help you reach your goals and have the American dream you want.
How distressing is it then to members of the Tea Party knowing that no matter what you do at this point, you are going to have Barack Obama in office for another couple of years, that he will be sitting there, that what many people see as inaction, fundraisers, will continue, and there simply may not get anything done. Certainly, depending on what happens today, there may not get anything done for another 5 weeks or so, and then many people are looking ahead and saying, we may not see any real substantive change until 2016. That has got to stick in the craw of the Tea Party and make them think about, and you think about as well, what you can do in order to at least try and sidetrack some of that to at least get some of what you want.
Well, I think that we were able to get some of what we wanted yesterday. The bad bill that the House of Representatives was looking at passing last night did not get passed, and the House leadership went and caucused with conservative members to listen to what the conservative members actually want. That's a win. That is a win. So when we look at that and we find the small victories that we can get, we will acknowledge those, and then we keep on making our case to the American people. We want the American people to be able to pursue their dream. We want to make sure that we have a debt-free future so our children aren't stuck with the bills that our generation has incurred. And we're going to keep talking about that. The Constitution, which we cherish in the Tea Party movement, we understand that it created a very slow process for change. We respect that, and we're going to work within that process. And I am optimistic for the future. It's frustrating right now, and yet I know that we're in line with the majority of Americans.
Would the Tea Party trust Barack Obama if he said the sky was blue?
Well, if he said the sky was blue, we'd probably go and look and see if it's raining or not. But I think that the more important thing is that we trust the Constitution and we trust our fellow citizens. And we know that as Americans, we cherish freedom in this country, and we're going to continue to stand up for it. And as long as we do that, and as long as we continue to do that, I think that we have hope for our future.
I'm curious as to what you are hearing then from the people in the Tea Party, those folks that you talk to as well, as to where we are right now, sitting here trying to get something done, and this absolute logjam, this complete inaction that's happening at this point. Again, you have one side blaming each other constantly. We hear it 24 hours a day. But what is the reaction that you're getting from these constituents and these voters who just have to be getting frustrated to the point where they're ready to actually blow almost at this point? They've just got to be so frustrated that they're ready to pop.
Well, they are very, very frustrated, and what we're hearing is that a lot of people will be engaged in elections in the coming weeks. And what we're also seeing is, even though elections are still, well, the coming months, so elections are coming in November, and even though that's happening, we haven't turned our back onto what Congress is doing this week, and we continue to hold Congress accountable for their actions this week. And what I love so much about the Tea Party movement is that we're able to focus on the midterm and long-term goals while keeping our eye on Congress and holding them accountable. I think too often what I saw personally in my own activist life before the Tea Party movement is we focused on elections without holding members of Congress accountable. And the fact that we are holding them accountable in both parties, I think will make America better.
Are you ready to, in 20 seconds that we have here, send a message out to America, those people out there, and there are a lot of pundits and different commentators who say Tea Party's on the way down. I have a feeling that you're ready to go ahead and send them a message and say, you're not paying very close attention, are you?
Oh, I think that anyone who thinks the Tea Party is on the way down just needs to look at the polling and what we actually stand for. Look at the facts, and they will see that the American people are in line with us and the Republican Party is in line with us. We saw that from the poll that Tea Party Patriots did in the past week. And I encourage people who agree with us to go to our website at teapartypatriots.org and sign up for updates.
Jenny Beth Martin, we thank you so much for taking the time to join us. With your side of it, I absolutely believe we'll be talking an awful lot here heading towards 2016.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Still ahead this hour, John Kerry's either a man way above his head at no fault of his own or a man simply way over his head, period. And after the break, bring out the gloves, the political punching bag. That's coming up right here on MidPoint, where every day we question everything.